Can the Su-33 actually be added right now? Well, let's take a look. Hello guys, once again it's Matt. Thank you all the members and patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's talk about this version of the Su-27, right? So, if you don't know, there is a naval version of the Su-27 that is normally called the Su-33. It was actually developed in the late 80s to be basically the main fighter for the new type of carrier that the Soviets were developing, right? Together with the MiG-29K and a version of the Su-25 that would be able to land on a carrier as well, it would be a complete package of fighters and attackers and everything like that, right? Eventually, it didn't become everything that the Soviets intended to for this aircraft to be, but it's still a very interesting aircraft and a lot of people ask for it. So let's talk if it's actually able to be added right now. Is it going to be OP if it was added or not, right? So the first thing is that we need to give credit to the person that actually made this mod, which is Ajude. I don't know how to pronounce that, sorry. But I will leave the links in the description for you to actually take a look. The mod itself is not using the flight model of the Su-27. I think this mod was actually made before that was added, but still. What you have to know about this aircraft is that it has basically three main changes between the Su-27 and this, okay? The first one is an obvious one from third person, the canards, of course. So technically, it can pull a little bit more AOA due to that, especially in lower airspeeds. But at the same time, it is heavier with the second modification, the stronger gear, and of course the arrestor hook, right? So it is a little bit heavier, and with that, you know, it should be somewhat similar, although some people claim that it's still a little more maneuverable than the normal Su-27. And the third modification that is pretty interesting, it has new engines. Well, not completely new engines, but a new, you know, afterburner mode for the original Saturn engines that made this aircraft be able to do, you know, a little bit of a power up before you took off. So it's not really usable. I mean, technically, in like a normal flight, you know, in the air and stuff, but when it's actually going to take off from a carrier, especially when it's fully loaded, they would always use those, right? Of course, there are some other minor things, like the radar was actually changed a little bit to be able to just be a little bit better on, you know, basically scanning targets that are flying above the sea. But everything else is pretty much the same as the Su-27. So is this going to be an OP machine? Well, no, to be honest, no. The only, like, I mean, there is a fourth addition that I forgot to mention, is that it can carry 2 more missiles. That would be actually the main thing about this Su, right? Everything else is pretty much the same as the Su-27. The missiles are the same. The R-27s and of course R-73s, right? It cannot use R-77s or anything like that. It is a little bit heavier, but it technically can pull a little bit more AOA. It has a little bit more power, but just in the certain circumstances, you know. So at the end of the day, it will be literally the same as the Su-27, but with 2 extra missiles and maybe a little bit heavier and with a little bit more AOA, right? So it doesn't change much. So is it going to be completely broken or anything like that? No, to be honest, no. It's going to be as broken as the Su-27, and that can be a controversial opinion, right? A lot of people can complain about the Su-27 being OP or not being OP, and people will have different opinions on it. My opinion is that it is the best aircraft in the game. And for sure, we don't need another Su-27 right now for the Russians, right? So that's the thing. It's not really needed. Just like an Su-30 or better versions of the Su-27, I don't think they're even needed, even if we see an R-77 being added to a MiG-29 SMT, right? Or even an Su-27 with the R-77. It's not really needed right now. Even like if the Fox 3s come, these aircraft has basically all the boxes ticked, right? So it has amazing maneuverability, amazing speed, amazing climb. The radar, yeah, it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's good enough, you know, for the missiles. And the R-27s are right now the best missile in the game for BVR, right? So it means that even when the Fox 3s are added, this missile will still be good. It will still actually outrange most of the Fox 3 missiles that are added, right? The thing is that, of course, it is a semi-active missile, so it will have that as a, you know, kind of a handicap for that aircraft. But at the same time, you still have the R-73s, and it can still do a dogfight better than a MiG-29. So at the end of the day, there will be cons and pros about using this aircraft when the Fox 3s come, and you will be facing Fox 3s, don't you worry. But at the end of the day, man, like, it's still one of the best aircraft, even in that scenario. Of course, we are going to know what it becomes, but you know, in that scenario with the 90s Fox 3s, but it's not really needed even in those situations, in my opinion, right? The Su-33, I mean. Would it be cool? Yes, it would be amazing. I love the Su-33. I don't know anybody that doesn't love that thing, that loves Sukhois, right? I still believe my MiG-29 is the most fun aircraft to fly, in my opinion, of course. But I cannot, you know, disagree with the superiority that the Sukhoi platform has right now in the game, right? So it is, you know, more of the same and more of something that we already have and have plenty of, meaning that we don't need an Su-33. And it's kind of sad, but I still believe that the Su-33 will take its time to actually be added. I mean, we don't even have the early variants of the F-18 yet, right? So what does that even mean? I mean, of course, the US has a lot of aircraft, and they always pace themselves at adding stuff, but if an F-18 is not added to the game yet, you can imagine how far an Su-33 is, right? I mean, it depends on what you consider far off, you know, because I still believe that in 1 year from now we will see Eurofighters and Rafales flying around, but at the end of the day, I mean, I can only look at the present, and in the present, yeah, it's an aircraft that would be basically just a tiny little bit better than Su-27, and not really bringing anything too different to be having a reason to be added right now, and increasing the ability of the Soviets to actually deal with other nations. So I don't think it's coming right now. But anyway, leave it in the comments what you think about the Su-33, and I see you guys on the next one. Bye.